What are you seeing as the common legal mistakes that are happening today that get daily deal companies into trouble?
In terms of the big mistakes that I see the companies are making, it's similar to other emerging areas of business, where what generally happens is you have a bunch of startups that are very motivated to grow as quickly as possible. And they frankly don't have the financial resources or the time or the energy to focus on legal issues. So you see that with Groupon. All they were focused on was market share, market share, market share. Then these other companies come along and they make the mistake of following the leader. And they look at Groupon's terms and conditions and Groupon's business model and figure now Groupon's a multi-billion-dollar company. They must have hired attorneys to do it right. And generally they haven't. Generally, someone just slopped together some terms and conditions, figured, let's see if this makes sense, and we'll work it out afterwards. That's the first big mistake that companies in the industry are making, which is they're assuming someone else actually thought about these issues, when in fact nobody did.
I think a lot of my clients on the defense side say, well, why do you need to sue on behalf of a putative class? Why don't you, Jay Edelson, or whoever the plaintiff's lawyers are, reach out to us on an individual basis? If we've got one person who received a daily deal voucher and says, well, it didn't have the appropriate gift or expiration date, it wasn't compliant with Federal Card Act or the various state laws, why does it need to be drummed up on a class-wide basis? Then, like Jay said, it becomes the scariest thing in the world, particularly for a startup who isn't as experienced in litigation as some of the Groupon is certainly now.
All right. And so the response to that is we like class actions.
So, class action suits. You mentioned something about expiration dates. What kind of lawsuit is that all about?
So this is actually a good window into kind of the plaintiff's bar, and I think problems that sometimes emerging industries have. Because in my view, this was an issue that could have been easily avoided at the beginning, and part of it is Groupon stumbled. There are a number of state-specific laws that say that if you are selling gift certificates, you can't have expiration dates. In California, you can't have them for any period of time. You can't say it expires in 2 years, 10 years, 15 years. That's what the California lawmakers said, and that's a law. In Illinois, it's 5 years. Massachusetts, there's another different law about it. In my mind, it was very clear the plaintiff's bar was going to see this issue. There were a lot of class actions involving this against other industries, and I think, frankly, the Groupons of the world just missed it. Partly because they got bad advice from defense attorneys. A lot of times, defense attorneys will write terms and conditions, and they'll say, the way to protect you is we're going to choose one state's choice of law. We're going to say Missouri law applies to everybody, and we're going to look at Missouri law to see if we comply.
Anyone ever pick Missouri?
No one ever picks Missouri.
No, I think that, I just want to add to that, I think that what's really confusing to a lot of people here and a lot of people that we hear from is all the different laws, first of all, state by state, and what I would like to understand from you, are you challenging the concept, or are you challenging, the small ink? What exactly is the main issue?
You should be a lawyer. That's a lawyer's question. Right. It depends on your viewpoint. But it's no. I understand. Nobody is going after the concept. A lot of times when we sue these industries, we actually admire them. It's very cool that Groupon came up with this idea to offer huge discounts to customers throughout the country, and really do it through an advertising vehicle, which is why people get these discounts. We have no problem with that. It really is that there are these state-specific laws that they've got to comply with. So there were ways for them to just tweak how they were dealing with the terms and conditions. This isn't changing their business model, just having slightly different terms and conditions, which would allow them to do exactly what they wanted to do, protect consumers in a way that isn't going to cost them money, and avoid these suits.
To speak specifically to the daily deal class actions, essentially what the allegations are is that it's an unfair, deceptive practice to impose a after-the-fact expiration date on the promotional piece of a voucher, in a sense of if you, as a consumer, you opt into a particular daily deal, you get your voucher sent to you, the purchase price, what you pay for it, doesn't have an expiration date. The promotional aspect of it, let's say if you bought $25 for $50 off at a restaurant, let's say, the $25 that you paid, that part was always redeemable. There's never any expiration date. What the class action plaintiffs bar has said is, well, we want that other 25, that promotional piece, because if the deal expires, then the consumer can go to Groupon or the merchant and say, well, unfortunately this deal expired. They'll get their $25 back, and in our mind, they're fully whole. There's no reason to file a lawsuit. And on the plaintiff side, they're going to say, well, we didn't get return of the promotional piece of it, so.
But that's also partly, frankly, because they're not thinking about it correctly. There were ways that Groupon and other companies could have set it up so that the burden was on them and not on the merchants themselves. That was an issue that we've talked about with some of the defendants, where they say we have a special Valentine's promotion. We can't give out the free teddy bear the next 10 years just for this Valentine's Day. And the answer to that is, of course, there's a solution. I think that we're going to see, over the next 6 months, lawsuits in two categories. One is employment suits. A lot of the daily deal companies aren't honoring overtime laws. There's your first scoop of the day. I'm sorry?
I'm going to write it down so I know what to look for.
But that's a joke, but it's also the point, because plaintiffs' attorneys have more incentive to figure out what these companies are doing wrong than the defense attorneys do, because defense attorneys get paid if we sue. If they stop a suit, they get paid less.
Well, I think that brings up a question that a lot of people would like to know, and you say you're super aggressive with your class actions. Are you suing because it's wrong, or are you suing because it's an opportunity?
I was a philosophy major in college, and that's in over my head. Everything you're doing.
No, because you said it's you guys are very aggressive.
We are.
Here's what you said: you sue everybody involved.
Right? I didn't say that. We don't sue everybody involved. We're not suing the people individually. We're not suing their families. My point is that sometimes it is appropriate in litigation to create a problem for companies that are violating the law. And we're happy to do that. We like creating problems. In terms of whether we view this as a social good or an opportunity, my view is law is a business. It's a business on the plaintiff side. It's a business on the defense side. Anyone who says something different is just not telling the truth.
Sure.
Do we think that we're doing good? Sure. We like protecting customers. Consumers, that's a good thing to do. Do we like making money? We enjoy that as well.
I absolutely agree with you there. I think that the consumer protection side of this, there's a long way that the industry could go from where it is today. So, okay.